Hey guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. I'm up here, just wanted to get more of a closer look in terms of the camera here so you guys can see me. It's interesting because thinking about this whole thing in regards to the election that's getting ready to approach, it's kind of interesting because with all that has transpired as of late, when you think about the assassination attempt of Donald John Trump Sr., and then just today, being July 17th of 24, it was just recently rolled out that Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. And he had to cancel any events that he was planning to partake in as far as speeches are concerned, just I guess as of today. Doesn't the timing seem off in regards to both of these occurrences with you guys? Like, do you, or is it just me? Am I analyzing this wrong? Because I'm just, I can't help but wonder. Like, when you think about it, we're getting ready to embark on the election, right? And it's this year. It's coming up pretty quickly. And for all of this to actually take form around this time, you can't help but wonder why. A lot of people would argue, could this be a bit of a, I guess you could say a bit of a ploy? Like, could it be that this is both sides' way of trying to harness in more votes for their party? You know, when you think about it, as far as the Democrats versus the Republicans, taking into consideration that all that has happened recently, like, so for instance with Trump, didn't it just come out that somehow his information was on the flight log in regards to Jeffrey Epstein? And also that there were some other documents found in regards to, what was it? When he was scheduling appointments for massages with a 13-year-old. I mean, not only that, but there appeared to be documents that were released showing that there was a lawsuit that was against Donald Trump as well as Jeffrey Epstein in regards to several occasions where he came in for a massage and then there were sexual acts done between him and a minor. Of course, with this information coming out, of course, it left a bad taste in a lot of the Republicans' mouth, which is why a lot of people started to step down in regards to supporting him, Donald Trump. When it came out that he did, in fact, have some dealings in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein trial. The fact that he was, in fact, one of the individuals that was on that flight log as well. Now, shifting gears, a lot of people know that Biden, too, also has a history when it comes to that pedo space, if you will. Oftentimes, when I think about both of these groups, I use the analogy that it's just different sides, but the same bird, right? You can't help but wonder, present day, why is all of this stuff happening all of a sudden now as we're getting ready to embark on this election period? It is truly things that make you say, Furthermore, about this J.D. Vance character, who's his running mate now. I have mixed feelings about that guy. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I honestly have to say, this is the first time, the first year in regards to the election period that we're getting ready to embark on, that I don't feel as enthused. I don't feel as driven and wanting to go out and vote. Not saying that I'm not going to. But with all that has came out, and in regards to the candidates that we support or don't support, it's kind of got a lot of us taking a step back and starting to assess things on a deeper scale in regards to who we supported before and who we may need to consider supporting going forward. Example being with Donald John Trump Sr. I've been a long-time supporter of his for quite some time. But I have to be honest. I'd be lying if I don't say it. After the information that was revealed in regards to those documents that came out, with the flight log and that lawsuit that was against him and Jeffrey Epstein, in regards to that 13-year-old girl at the time, and the details in the document, it saddened me to see it. It did. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who is a supporter of his that is now having second thoughts and who we should support going forward. Should we let that be a determining factor in regards to his past dealings with Jeffrey Epstein and that lawsuit with that 13-year-old girl? Should that be a determining factor in regards to him on whether we're going to support him in terms of a vote or not? Or should we look past it, as others have chosen to look past Biden's dealings with minors as well? It's a lot to think on. And this is truly crunch time. We'll have to see. I say all this, you guys. When you go into that voting booth this election, choose wisely. Definitely do your research, and rest assured, as I talk about in a lot of my videos, I will be doing the same. I stand behind that code 100%. Did then and do now. Especially now with all that has been released to the public as of late. It's pretty unfortunate, it is. But again, we have to ask ourselves, knowing the information we know now about this individual, well, both individuals, both candidates in this case, right? Do we let that be a determining factor in regards to whether we support them in regards to their leadership on a global scale or not? Do we write it off as something that is minor, no pun intended? Please understand that when I say that. Or do we acknowledge it on a grand scale and start looking into other candidates outside of these two individuals? It's a lot to think on. It's a lot to think on. And that is all for this quick video. It's been a long day, you guys. I'm actually getting ready to head out here in just a minute. But I want to do this quick video with you guys. And I decided to post this up because I know the RNC is on currently on television. I didn't even feel driven enough to want to sit down and watch it tonight. That is mind-blowing. It's a bit of a shocker to me because I usually love sitting through those speeches and such, just hearing what all the individuals have to say that are partaking in the lineup. And tonight, just wasn't feeling it. It's even gotten to a point that a lot of the pages I was following that was tied to certain candidates or certain political figures, I started pulling back. I started unfollowing. Because I need to sit back and assess, really see where I stand in terms of my moral scale when it comes to who I support in regards to the political space. The only one, interestingly enough, that I felt has been pretty consistent, who I felt that my views more so align with. I'm so torn because I feel like to a degree my views still tie quite heavily with Trump, but I have to say my views also quite heavily align with Pence as well. I just hate that they had that little rift between them, because I felt like they were a pretty good team together. They both Mike Pence, as well as Donald John Trump Sr. I felt like they were phenomenal. And I hate that they allowed that little scenario to be the deciding factor to sever ties with one another. It's pretty sad. And this is no dig at JD Vance. Nope, I take that back. I still feel like I'm on the fence about JD Vance because of the past statements he made about Trump in the public when he went on to speaking on radio stations and also at certain events. He was very vocal about his dislike when it comes to Donald John Trump Sr. And in some way, it looks like he tried to renege on those statements. And from what I understand, he did a little brown nosing, if you will, to try to get into his good graces thereafter. And Trump allowed it. I'm a little taken aback because I truly feel once an individual has shown you who they truly are, once they've shown themselves to be a snake, like the snake poem that Donald John Trump has often read in his rally speeches. Did we lose sight of that? I don't understand. Once an individual has shown you who they truly are, let that be that, and move wisely with them. Move differently with them. Why would you pair up with an individual who's shown you who they truly are and they have a disliking when it comes to you? The very poem that you read, Donald John Trump Sr., if he ever sees this, I'm talking to you. The very poem that you read during those speeches in regards to that snake that you were talking about, you just allowed one in. Do you not see that? It blows my mind. How can you trust things that make you say, I know I'm not the only person that noticed this. It blew my effing mind that you can even stand side by side with this individual when he was so vocal about his disgust with you in regards to not liking you, or he felt that your way of handling certain scenarios, that it was not politically correct. And you still feel comfortable enough to give him that position alongside yourself? Don't be an individual that talks the talk, but don't walk the walk. And sadly enough, this is how it appears to us who are watching. You spoke a good game, Donald, when you talked about the snake, right? But to actually apply it in regards to what is going on right now, in regards to who you chose to be your running VP mate, it's not matching up. Did we lose sight of that? Like, what's going on? And furthermore, do you feel like your sense of support your sense of alliance with Mike Pence? Do you feel like it's so far gone just because of that little rift that you guys had? It wasn't that damaging to where you guys could not recover. And I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I really thought you guys were a solid ass team. Excuse my language, but you truly were. You guys were. And to allow that one scenario to play out and to allow that to be the detriment of your team in terms of you and Mike Pence side by side, if you will, I think it's sad. I feel like you guys could have moved beyond that and still focused on the bigger picture of truly how you can make America great again, but do so in a way where you both talk it out, but at the same time do understand that you can agree to disagree, but still come to an equal understanding of how to move forward as a nation. It's a lot to think about, but I don't know. Guess we'll have to see with this new guy. And that is all for this quick video, you guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Feel free to chime in. You guys are doing amazing with sending me responses through my chat systems as well as my emails. Definitely keep that going. I do interact with a lot of you. Consultations are still open. Actually, Friday is out for sure. Saturday, I do have surprisingly 2 spots available, so if that might work better for any of you, definitely take advantage. I would like to welcome the newcomers to my pages. I see you guys trickling in, and I do appreciate you as well. For those of you who are not aware, I am actually in the field house when it pertains to keynote speaking as well as motivational speaking. So if you happen to be a part of an organization, and let's say you have an event that's coming up, and you would love for me to come and partake in that experience with you all, have someone from your division to reach out to me, where we can then go over the details and of course move forward accordingly. And as always, I am definitely sending you guys off with love and light, and I will see you in the next video. I am getting ready to head home here. So as always, be blessed, and I'll see you soon. Bye, you guys.